Yes, yes, yes. What's going on? What's going on? Rebel advocates in the building. What's happening? What's happening, everyone? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where, yeah. Yeah, we know, we know. We took long. We know and all that stuff. But hey, look, we're here now, innit? That's all that matters, right? We're here now, and we're gonna do our thing today. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, me and the big. Hold on, who's there anyway?
Yo,
Who's that? Johnny.
man, like Johnny Five, man.
What's going on, sir?
There, there. Long time still, man.
What's going on, man? Are you good? How you been? Because nobody's heard from you for a bit of time. What's going on?
Just hot and bothered right now, but man,
Oh shit, you enjoying the weather and that? Yeah.
enjoying it. But when it comes to nighttime, it's killing me. But you know the thing, we complain when it's cold, complain when it's hot. So
We are say you can't sleep.
boy, I left on the fan last night, and I woke up with a headache. So that's some idiot thing. But yeah, you know when it's just blowing around, beer, hot air.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't even have one. I don't even have one to be honest. But yeah, I understand that thing. Yeah, yeah. That's what usually happens once you keep rinsing it. It kind of gets redundant, and it doesn't work or something, innit?
How have you been anyway?
Can't complain, you know. You know, cannot complain. I'm here, alive, happy.
Um, come on, come on.
You know, get what I want somewhat.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just taking that and running with that. Do you know what I mean?
I hear it, man.
So yeah. All right. Well, I'm not gonna waste no time. Let's just go in it. Let's just jump into it. This one's about why, why racism, old chap. Why
Come on.
racism? Not as in why racism. Why
Mm,
would you? Why would you even? You know. Okay. Let's just say like um. All right. When I was living in Spain for a bit, right? The you know the people always come up to you. You know what I mean? Maybe the same people come up to you and look at you and act, act like, maybe they haven't seen, they ain't seen a black person or they've seen you on TV, right? Or they've
mm.
only seen black people on TV. So all right, I can understand a little bit why they have to look fascinated every time, But just go up to them and talk and try and learn more, and then, do you know what I mean? But okay, where does it go from that to I want to kill you, and you know what I mean? You're taking over my spot. Do you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? Why does it?
Yeah, I get it. I
Why do
get it.
people? Why do some of these people have to try and kill you, get rid of you, instead of try and understand? Do you get that?
I hear it. Some of it's down to ignorance. That's what I've learned. And some of it's just uneducated, like the way they've been brought up. They deem that's the normal behavior, isn't it? It's just like you got the not turning it into football talk, but with the Argentina team, they were singing on a live to the French football team, "You're not French. Go and play for the African team that you come from," or something like that. But when they did break it down, they were saying they didn't see anything wrong with the song because that's the song they're trying to say in Argentina, that they're just used to that type of behavior, and that's the norm to them, isn't it? But to me, someone like me and you, teacher, we would look at that and be like, why are you so goddamn ignorant? Like, why would you sing something like that? And it's not like you were playing the. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but it's not like they were playing the French football team anyway. They were playing in the Copa America. They were playing the South American team. So you've just won. So why are you singing about the French national team and singing a derogative song? Like, there's no need for it.
No,
But this is
go
what.
on, go on.
But like, I'm not saying it's all a South American culture, but you get it from the Uruguayans, you get it from the Argentinians, you get it from other nationalities. But in South America, it's the culture is to do and say racial and offensive things towards black people, innit? And put it that way. And to me, it's just ignorance, innit? It's not. They say they're uneducated and it's normal for them, but to me, it's just educated. What would possess you to like sing or do those sort of things? That's like me not saying I'm not educated on not to say racial slurs or derogative slurs towards like white people. Like I know it's wrong, so why would I do it?
Totally, totally. Go on. You wouldn't, right? Have you ever done it before? Honestly, not as. All right, all right. You might have done it before, right? I'm gonna let you answer. Sorry. Have you ever done it before?
No, go on, go on.
Have you ever done it before?
Not that I can recall. May, may, may,
Go on.
maybe I've all right. Maybe I've said something, but not. I may have said something to like you or something about, but I haven't been like. It's just yeah, I have done it in it. Fuck it, man, I have done it.
Mm, mm, mm.
But it's like the way they. I'm not saying it's right what I've done, but the way they do it now is like they're doing it for the whole world to see. Like they're actually yeah. To me, I reckon it's different. But yeah, I've done it. Naturally, I think everyone does it really, but it's how you come across and how you do it, when you do it, how you do it, and who you do it to. Say it to him. Like you could be amongst your peers that's the same race as you, and you just come up, you just come off with it and be like, all right, cool, I'll have a little joke or whatever. But they never had it just among their peers. They done it. Like I'm not saying it's right in it, but they done it. They broadcasted it in it,
Mm, mm.
which is wrong in my opinion. But like I said, maybe they don't know no better, which I think they do. But you know, because there's been enough incidents that happen, not just in sport, in the world, where everyone would see it and be like, all right, cool, that's not acceptable to do that. So for them to come off with that cheap excuse about they didn't know no better, come on, there's been so much scenarios like where, sorry to go back to sport again, but you'll see like what Luis Suarez did to Patrice Evra and what he did to Patrice Evra.
What did he do? Because some people might not know about
Ferdinand,
that. What did he do, sir?
Patrice Evra, when he called him the N word in his language, innit? But Patrice ever understood what he said in his language.
Mm,
So
mm.
it's like you learn certain things, and it's like what John Terry did to not Rio Ferdinand. What's his brother called again? Anton Ferdinand. I think he
Yeah.
called him a black so and so anyway. So you learn these things. I know, like I said, I know it's not just in sport because I watch a lot of sport. I get to see these things firsthand, in it, and it's like if you didn't think it was acceptable, if you thought it was acceptable before, you would see these other things, and you're in that line of work. You're a sports star, you're a football star, so you'll hear these things and be like, "Oh shit!" The things that we're doing and saying, it in lines with what Suarez did or what John Terry did or what you get what I'm saying to you. So you would learn and be like, maybe it's not right what we're doing, and you would look to change how you're perceiving yourself, how you're coming across. But that's why I said it's ignorance, because it's not like you're not hearing different scenarios similar to what you're doing and you're still doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Mm. You know, some people they try to rationalize or justify racist behavior or beliefs with a
Yeah, cool.
variety of excuses. You know, so you know some of the people say cultural differences. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I hear that one.
but I mean, is there cultural differences that? I mean, listen, a lot of people there's cultural differences. There's a lot of cultural differences, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't it doesn't mean you know if you know a different culture you want you should be intrigued by that, right? You should want to know what is that culture got, what are they doing, what food do they eat, what dance do they do, what clothes do
but
they have. Go on.
it's like when me, you, and RT had that conversation that time about why would you go and live in another country and not try and adapt to their culture? So it's like what you're saying now, isn't it? Like try and learn, like be like, what do they do? What do they eat? What do they music do they like? What do they like to do in their spare time? What you get me? You try and learn certain things about certain people, but these ignorant people is like maybe maybe they know certain things and they still just choose to be ignorant and still do what they're doing in it when they're amongst their peers. Like I said, when I'm amongst my peers, yeah, we do crack a little joke and all that, but that's as far as it goes, isn't it? But these lot, when they're amongst their peers, they're broadcasting it to the world like, yeah, we're racist basically.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because telling someone to go back to where they come from, is that not doesn't that sit like that would be like me telling like, or if someone said that to me, go back to where you come from. Wait a minute, what do you mean go? I'm from here. What do you mean go back where I come from? But
We gonna go Brixton.
well, I might have to do that. You get it? I might have to get me. I might have to go down to Acre Lane, Badman, and go and hang out there, Badman, because if that's where they're saying to go back to where I come from,
Ain't it ain't it
but it's
go on, go on, go on.
But it is bad though, teacher, because they knew what they were doing because they singled out. We all know, or not all know, but me and you, we watch sport. We know football. We know in the French team, the majority of them, we know their original background in it. So that's why they're telling them you're not originally from France. Go back to whatever part of Africa you're from. They know what they're doing. You know, most of the French team they don't originate. Like their people or them don't originate from France. They came over and they based themselves in France in it. So that's how they get to genuinely integrate into the French, like whatever they're doing, the sport. If it's sport, music, just living in the country, they just adapt to the surroundings that they live in it. And the Argentinians know this. They know this. That's why they've got that song.
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe. Maybe. What about
And like I said, you got
go
go
on.
on.
No. Continue,
Now go
sir.
on. And it's like I said about even with Suarez, like calling man the N-word, and it's like he's saying in his country it's acceptable to talk like that. Like maybe it is, but you using a word that is derogatory and I don't even like really using it myself. I'll be honest with you. Like I know a lot of people that use it, but I rarely use that word in it because I don't like that word. But for him to say that they use that word in their country, like, all right, you may use it in your country, but you haven't got no right to use that word. What makes you think you got the right to use that word? And you didn't say it as in you were just greeting the man. You said it in malice. Because the man tackled you or fouled you, whatever, you thought it was all right to use the word. So you wasn't even greeting him, which isn't right anyway. You wouldn't say, hi, my N-word because you're not off that. You're not off that surrounding, innit? You're not that race to use that word, but he used it. But he used it in anger, innit?
Just turn your camera off, old chap. We don't need your camera, mate. Turn your camera off.
I'm trying to work it out.
Audio. Press the audio.
Audio.
I don't see nothing except for J. Oh, there's audio.
Yeah.
There's camera.
Press video.
Do we have?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine now. You're fine. Just yeah, you're fine now. Yeah, you're awake, old chap. Hello?
I think he's muted. So, I think he's muted himself.
Get yourself off of me, old man.
He's got mute on his square.
Get yourself. You've muted it.
They're back.
I'm back in the room.
Jesus Christ.
Don't take the good Lord's name in vain.
This is why we tried to do a bit early, yeah? This is why we do the 10 minutes before, you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
No, I
hold on.
the phone. I thought, where's Ashley?
Hey, listen. First things first, yeah? First things first, old chap.
Right.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Go on.
Anyway, how you doing? Did someone just hijack us, or who is this person?
It's me.
All right,
Yeah.
me. How you going on, me? How's me doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I didn't even hear the call. I just picked up the phone and it said join chat.
Yeah, because you're in the group, mate. You're in the group, so you can just join in whenever you decide to wake up.
Yeah. Go on, what we're talking about?
No worries. We're going in why, innit, Johnny? Yeah, we're talking about why racism. Why is it racism? We've done a few things. What were we talking about? Excuses why people say they are racist. You know, cultural differences. Yeah, they're claiming their views are based on perceived cultural differences, not races. Personal experience. Yeah, using personal experience, negative personal experiences with individuals of a certain race to justify generalizing those views for the entire race. One here that I think is ignorance. Forget about the list. What do you think, sir? Mr. Hijack?
Me.
Hijack will do.
Mr. Me, why would you say some people are racist, sir?
Well, I suppose it depends on who you are and where you come from, really, don't it? I mean, you can say, like, I would say round here where I live, that there isn't really a problem with racism.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go out to, say, the countryside somewhere, like last week I was in Essex, and the things people say to you, they've said to me, they wouldn't say to you.
100%. We know about that one. That little tactic. They just assume you're like them, and you share the same views as they share. So tell me something, sir. Could you share any of the things that they said to you? Could you share any of the things that these people
Like, where are you from? South London. Oh, I don't know. How do you live around there with all them immigrants? I said, well, most of them aren't immigrants. Most of them were born there. Like, do you know what I mean? Most of the people I know were born in London.
Yeah.
Do you know, they were born here. They've been here as long as I have. Most of my friends around there.
And that'll be that under the ignorance, wouldn't it?
But because of the colour of your skin, you're perceived to come from somewhere else.
Totally, sir.
And belong to somewhere else.
Totally, sir. Totally, sir. Would that be their ignorance showing, rearing its ugly face, right?
Yeah, it would be. But why else do you put it? Maybe a fear that if they've been here, then this area, then their area where they got would turn out like here. Maybe. Maybe they drive through London and think, sod that, I like it where I live. Does that make any sense to you? Like, because I was speaking to one guy and he said, I don't know how you live in South London, all the immigrants. And I said to him, it's not really bad. A lot of people they're not immigrants. They're people that were born here. You know, so I suppose it comes from where they live. Like, I suppose if you were born in some town in Essex and you went to a school in Essex and you work in one and you work in the car mechanics in Essex, then that's your life around that, isn't it? So you see the odd black person, the odd Asian person, and you go out for your curry on a Friday night. Do you know what I mean? You think, well, he's all right. It's a pity everyone isn't like him.
100%. That's what that's the football. That's that football talk as well, isn't it? You get that at some football matches, right? They're all right.
If everyone was like him, then there wouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean? Well, there's not really a problem anyway, really, unless you create the problem.
So listen, right? Look, isn't it like? Because look, I remember if you look in like South London, Kenneton, growing up in Kenneton, right? That was a racist area. You know, you heard a lot of racist things happen back in them days. Yeah, we're talking about in the 60s and the 70s. You'd hear things.
I know all about that. Yeah.
Listen, why do you think you're here, mate? You're here to cover them areas that we can't cover them.
Yeah, but in them days, things were different. Like for a start, you still had people in them days that went through the Second World War. That only finished in 1945. So you still had people that went through the Second World War. And when they saw, Windrush and all the people coming over from Jamaica, they saw them as replacing the people that they lost in the Second World War. People coming over here to drive the buses, and it was perceived that people coming over here to drive the buses and then they were undercutting the wages. It was seen, I'm not saying they was, but it was perceived that they were undercutting the wages of the people that were driving the buses.
Totally.
They told them
when
they finished the war, they would come back to a land fit for heroes.
Yeah, totally. But they were also filling jobs, right? There was a lot of jobs that people weren't doing over here, innit, right?
Oh man, in them days it was good. everyone had a job. You wanted one. I walked straight out of school and into a job.
But even though that everyone had a job, there was still a lot of jobs, right? Because I remember I was talking to my old man, and he said that they were out there recruiting in his country where he came from. They were out recruiting for him to come over here, and they've got a job there. So they were filling jobs, right? That people weren't doing over here, right? Would you say that, sir?
Oh, definitely. I think when you go through, like during the war, like they were even encouraging, unlike today, they were encouraging more women to have babies and that, because they'd lost a lot of people in the Second World War.
All right, cool. We don't want to get off topic though. Still, who's ready? So
No, we're not getting off topic,
totally.
but there was, of course. So when don't forget, after the war now, when I was a kid, there was still the bomb sites. There was still the air raid shelters.
Yeah.
There was still the air raid shelters. So you had people you had people that were coming over, and some people didn't like it. Other people did.
Totally.
So
go on, Johnny. Go on.
So what you're saying is, was that excusable them times for the racism to basically start?
No, because it's never excusable, is it? It's just people being ignorant. They were getting used to they had to get used to a new culture that they'd never seen before.
But what I'm saying, when something's new, it's like it's not acceptable, but it's like because it's new now, no one doesn't know how to adapt. So my argument is, we've been around for a long time now, so it's like to me it shouldn't be acceptable. I'm not saying it should have been acceptable then, but because it was new, and it's like you said, people thought we were coming over to steal your jobs and steal your women or whatever, and it's now we've been over here for how many years now? It's like, when's this shit gonna stop? Because like I was explaining before you came on, Pauls, in football, I was explaining with like the Argentinian football team, when they won the Copa America and they started singing against the French football team about, you're not really from France, go back to Africa where you're from. And they're saying in their country, those type of chants and songs is normal where they're from. So it's like, when is it going to stop? Because it's not like we've just like came on the earth yesterday. We've been on this, like we've been around for years and years and years, and we've helped build things. We've helped do a lot of things, but it's like, why is the black race such like it's like we're seen to be like scum, if you know what I mean? Like, why is that?
Well, I know what you're saying, because if you take even the England football team a few years ago, do you remember that, when they were playing in Bulgaria and that, and they were facing Nazi salutes and everything from the Bulgarians?
Yeah.
The same happened in the Czech Republic, and the same happened in when they played in Serbia.
What I'm trying to ask is,
it's happening through ignorance, isn't it?
Yeah, but we've already discovered that. But what I'm saying is, like, is it ever gonna stop? Like, is it ever gonna end, or is it just something that's just gonna keep going and going and going and going until, I don't know. Like when, like I said, it's like, obviously, sorry to excuse my language, but I remember when we were younger, when there was the Paki bashing, and that's kind of faded out now, and it's like they're accepted now. Obviously, you get a little people, but
they fight back hard now.
And then you've got the other races. It's like you got the Chinese. I don't know if they really had any problems, but they probably had some sort of problems. But they're accepted. All other races are more accepted than the black race.
Asking like,
Why is that? Or like I said, why are we seen as the scum of all races?
So the answer to that is I don't know.
Go on.
I hear that.
No, as I said, it depends. It depends where you was brought up and who you associate with. I mean, I don't look at people like that.
Because you've grown up in a culture where you've grown up around all races. The area you live in is multicultural.
And they haven't.
But what I'm saying is, all right, they haven't. But surely, through goodness and mercy, there must be some black cultures in all of these countries, in Argentina and Uruguay. I've seen black players play for. Well, have I seen much play for Argentina? But there's been these like there must be these. Yeah, we used to, like you said, we don't see it again. But
if you're like, football fans, it's not good. I mean, football. It's football fans, isn't it? They'd have a go at that's terrible. I was at the England game when Laurie Cunningham come on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that was in about 1978. And the England fans were booing him. I was there when Cyril Regis got... And England fans were booing him. So it's like, in other countries, they're like 20 or 30 years, or 30 or 40 years behind. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Now, when you're talking about South America, look at the Brazilian team. The Brazilians have always had black players.
That is true. That is true.
Because they had links to Portugal. There's always been black people in Portugal.
And they've had
and you're right.
And they've had a nice mix. But listen, I'm gonna be bold now and say something else. Isn't it the look, you go here, right? Look, Kenneton, they used to live in Kenneton. More foreigners come to Kenneton, they move out, they go further out. East London used to be the place we're talking about, the craze times, the craze times. East London, East London was the place, and then now all the foreigners come in, everybody moves out, they go a step a bit further. You go, I used to live out in Spain. You go to Spain, you got their little communities there, where they've been there for years. They don't speak a bar of Spanish, but they're happy to be out there in their community. Would I be right by saying that they just want to be on their own? They don't want to mix with nobody. They just want to be on their own. What would you both say to that?
Maybe, maybe that is the case. Maybe where they just want their own little community and they don't want no one to come in and mash it up. Maybe that is the case.
Yeah, but who's mashing anything up?
But they would see it. It's like what teacher just said. If they've got their own set little whatever you are, and then obviously if I come along now, they're gonna feel, what's this guy? Like, you may feel threatened because you may look and like, why is this guy coming around? What's he coming around for? Who is he? Why is he here? Why don't he go back to where he comes from? Because they're thinking he doesn't come from. It's to send him back to where he comes from, isn't it? But I don't know.
What do you say to that, Mr. Me? Hijack me.
No, well, I think you have it all round. You have it all round the place, don't you? I think the where you find it a lot is with students. When students go abroad, you get a British black student who goes to university in Poland, which some of them do.
Yeah.
You only have to switch on YouTube to see them sort of people. Do you know what I mean? Then they're facing it, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're getting it. What's he doing now? Is he out for our nice Polish girls? Is he going to get educated and take our nice Polish jobs? Which, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. You know, but we can talk about abroad, but it's here is the main thing, isn't it? Because as was said, people have been here for what? When did the Windrush happen? 1952, 1953, something like that.
Yeah, in the 50s. Yeah, totally.
People have been here a long time.
100%.
And they kids. So their kids are British, aren't they? Because they were born in Britain.
Born here, yeah.
Yeah, but look. Even when I was younger, okay, I remember a lot of there was these clubs. Yeah, there was a few clubs around the area, right, where you weren't allowed to go in. It wasn't a youth club. It was just like a
It was worse in the 70s. If a black guy went to the door.
No, I'm not talking about the party clubs, boss. I'm not talking about the party clubs. I'm talking basic, like you've got your little club where only your type of people would go in there. Yeah, I remember there's a few of them clubs around in that area.
The working men's clubs.
But they would go in there. They'd let their kids and stuff go in there. I remember being a young person, right, and some of my friends, would go into that club and they'll say, hey, just wait outside, just wait outside, you know what I mean? Yeah?
Weren't a very good friend, was he?
Well, listen, you know, the older people do what they're doing, the younger people do what they're doing. But look, the fact is, as young as they knew what that was about. You understand? That's how you got to look at that. They knew what that was about already. And I didn't know what that was about. They knew what it was. All I know is I weren't allowed in the club and didn't put two and two together then, because I wasn't thinking like that then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, wouldn't we? You know, I'm not trying to put blame or nothing, because look, we're here just trying to say why, and I don't see. You know, I see you, Mr. Hijack Me over there, and I know you, and I know what you're like, and I know what you're around. And I don't see that in you, and I know Johnny over there, and I know what you're like, and I don't see that in you. So it's got nothing to do with us, but it's got to do with these certain people, right, that uphold certain things, yeah, and make these little sly jokes. You know, I remember Artie was talking about it when he worked in this place where he worked, and people were like what you said, Hijack Me, like what you said. People would come up to him, and you know that person, you know Artie, don't you, Hijack Me, because you met him before. I brought him round. Yeah, you've met him. So people would come up to him and say all them things that would say to you, not knowing about him and his lifestyle, and he would shut it down. But you know, they wouldn't come up to me and say that, but it's like they come up to the certain type of people, try and find a kind of, what is it, a mutual interest in in slating other people, just so they could say, okay, you're all right, maybe. I don't know why they do it, but I'm just suggesting they would just take that and say, well, okay, you're all right. I could tell these things to you. The other day, right, I was doing my job, right, and the guy just said, yeah, I'm driving out Bollywood. I mean, Tooting. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand? And that just jumped out, and then he just changed it quick, and I just thought, I know you already. I know what type of person you are. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If you're gonna say stuff like that, what are you gonna say when I'm not here? Do you know what I mean? Go on.
A bit about what it was like years ago. And years ago, you had them clubs that if you joined up, they would say to you, listen, there's no black members of this club. And if you do want to sign someone in and you sign a black person in, then you will find it very hard to renew your membership next year. That was well known in the working men's clubs that used to be all around London. Right? When I used to go to the Lyceum in the Strand, it was club nights. We used to call them discos then. Right? And if you went to the Strand, and you went on a say to the Lyceum ballroom. It was a big club, the Lyceum. You know, as you go over Waterloo Bridge there by the Wellington pub, it's got the big Lyceum.
Yeah.
And when you went in, they'd go, right, come in, lads. And if there was one black guy with a bunch of white guys, it weren't a problem. But if, say, 4 black guys went up, they'd say it's members only tonight. Well, there wasn't a membership scheme in the Lyceum.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's in London. Now, you probably wouldn't find that now. I don't know, because I'm not a black guy. But I've got a friend of mine who's around my age that you've met, right?
Mm.
And we grew up in the same part of London. And he went to one set of places. We're about the same age, and I went to another set of places. And we were sitting in the pub one night, and we worked out that on a Friday and Saturday night, we was less than half a mile from each other.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Because he went to his places where his music was being played, or the music he identified with being played. And I went to places where just my friends went. But when we were talking about it, it was the same type of music getting played in both places. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of discrimination. Even, and I'll tell you where a lot of it was, not just in professional football, but in amateur football.
Yeah, totally.
Because if you was playing for a team, for instance, say around Kennington, and then you played a match out in Surrey.
Yeah, totally. You're right.
You know what I mean? Then you would face quite a bit of racism. Now, there weren't a big crowd there or anything, just by general bandstand, the other team and the people that would come to that were part of the coaching staff of the other team or whatever.
Yeah, they'll give you a bit. They'll try and get on your nerve, get you sent off, tell you some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the deep feeling that they didn't like you because who you were.
No, totally, sir, totally.
So so not just in London, but you go out to Surrey, you go to Sussex, you go to, Essex, anywhere surrounding by London, because you played in the South East London League. South East London League used to branch out to Kent and borders on Surrey and all that, But even in football, let me just say this. Why do you think Tottenham and Arsenal have got more black fans than any other club in London? And do you know why that was? That was because Tottenham and Arsenal wouldn't have none of it. When the National Front were running around the territory at Leeds, West Ham, at Millwall and all that, Tottenham and Arsenal were having none of it. If you went to hand out one of them leaflets outside of Tottenham or Arsenal, you would be in dead trouble very, very quickly.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean? So, and that's what a lot of black fans in London used to support Tottenham.
Yeah, that's true. My old man used to support Tottenham back, even though he supports every team. I think he's a glory hunter. But go on anyway. Yeah, he used to support Tottenham.
Yeah, and it's and if you look at the area, it's one of the areas where black people first settled when they went to London.
Yep.
But you didn't get the same at West Ham. You didn't get the same at Millwall. You didn't get the same at Charlton Athletic.
Yeah.
No. And that's And that's why a lot of black people support Tottenham and Arsenal. So does the same happen today? I don't know because I'm not black, but I'm telling you how it was then.
No, totally. But listen, why though? Can you say why? Not that you got the answer. I know you ain't got the answer. None of us have the answer. But
But
why?
I think-
But why would you not want to learn from somebody else? Why would you just choose to get rid of them, hurt them? Why would you do all these horrible things instead of just trying to learn? Listen, you could. You know what? Do you know what I mean? Why would you try and do that instead of just being civil?
I don't think it's just people. I think it was governments as well. Constantly on about immigration, constantly on about using words like influx, using words like that's the sort of place that they prevent. The police as well. It was
Police,
murder
yeah.
for when I was a kid with the police.
Yeah, they had this they had a lot of police from South Africa over here back in the days, didn't they? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember any South Africans, but I know police that acted like South Africans.
Yeah, they used to go out there just beating people up. They had the
Let me
special
tell you a
forces. Go on,
story.
tell me a story,
I-
old chap. Tell us a story.
I was in Nunhead one day with my two brothers and a couple of mates, and the police pulled us up. They very rarely did, and they said, "Listen, can we stop and search you?" I said, "What do you want to stop and search us for?" They said, "Because we've just searched five. I won't use the words he used, right? 5 people up the road, 5 black people up the road there, and we just want to say that we've pulled some white people up at the same time."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was, I don't know, what was I then, 15, 16?
Hmm.
But if you look at the leaders we've had in the country and all that, you had none of this you had no equal opportunity scheme or anything like that then. There was no equal opportunities for anyone.
Hmm.
It was none of that. And if you was in a job and you liked the job, you got your mate into a job.
Yeah.
No. It was different for me because I worked in the lower end jobs. I worked in Haywood's Pickle Factory and I worked in Payne's Chocolate Factory.
Go on.
No, because then you got to meet people, and that's when you learn. You learn when you work with people. I know people from all over the Caribbean.
Yeah. All right then. No. You know what? We ain't gonna. There's not. This is an endless debate. You understand, about our discussion about why. I think we spent enough time on it. Listen, as we're talking of racism, go on. Sorry, sir.
Why do you think?
Why do I think? Oh, good question. Good that you asked me. Why do I think? I just think the people got a problem. They've got a problem. They feel, maybe they feel inferior. I think it's a little bit of everything. It is, some of these patriotic people, they love their country in a certain way, unrealistic way, because at the end of the day, that same country is not the one they've learned about years ago. Is not still the same. They're scared. I think they're scared. They got their old tradition from their family, and it's passed down to them. Some of it's funny. They think it's a joke. You can make a funny little joke about this and that, and then that actually sits in your head and stays there forever. I think it's the people that's got the problem, as well as this society keeping it up. The politicians talking about that certain group always talking about immigration is at its peak, when most of the immigration people were like students coming through, young Russian students or Chinese students coming through, and being eligible to be over here instead of the ones you see on the news getting on the boats and stuff illegally. So it's a lot of stuff, totally. But end of the day, we have to do just be nice, innit, right? Be nice and want to learn from
If
other.
you, but if you look at the last, say, 20 years, most of the immigrants have been coming in from Eastern Europe for being white people.
No, totally. So then no,
Mainly,
totally.
and, you know,
No, totally. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't, it doesn't really make sense. But you know what?
but you can't see any difference with them until they speak. That's the difference, actually.
Teacher.
That's the difference.
You know what, right? I've met so many people from Eastern Europe, and they're fine. Yeah, it's different. Like you said, when somebody goes over to their country and then they're faced with something else, then it's different. When they come over here, they adapt to here. I've met some nice ones, that you have a joke with and all that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something different when they're in their country, or when is that the same as going to their club? Is that the same as going to their little area where do you understand, where they got strength in numbers and they feel that they can intimidate other people? To me, it looks like that a little bit, don't you think?
Or dating their daughter.
Oh, come on. Yeah, of course. But anyway, let's move off of that, because that's another, we can sit here all night about that. All right, let's just touch on that little bit on this the guy on, what was it called? The this man in there, the girls got killed. These young girls.
Yeah.
These young girls got hurt, and this
On that one.
this person. It was the Southport thing. This is it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say anything too much about the person or anything. But you said you knew something about it, didn't you? Right? Because why all these riots? My question was, why was all these riots coming around? And then
Right, I'll tell you how that started off.
Tell me.
That started off with right. Obviously, someone who goes and attacks little girls having a dance part. It's a tragic, horrible thing, isn't it? It's terrible. Now people are upset about it. So, of course they do. Anyone gets upset about it, no matter what.
Understandable, 100%. Go on.
But how about this? Now, I was listening to one of my favourite shows on YouTube last night.
Don't say the name, but yes.
Well, I'm not going to say that's why I just said my favourite shows, right? And it come out there that a tweet was put out online that it was a guy who shouted Allah, Allah, Allah and started killing little kids. Now that tweet got something like 240,000 views and hundreds of reposts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it originated from outside the country, from someone in India. And that's how social media can really wind it up. Now I listened to another thing last night, I think it was on YouTube, where one guy was going, right, let's stick up for Britain. Let's head to Southport. But his only information on that attack was that tweet.
Yeah, so go on. They were basically trying to hype it up because there's no proof of none of that stuff, right?
As far as they're concerned, that was an Islamic terrorist, and they had to turn up to Southport and do something about it, right? And turn out on the streets, and they started burning up police cars and all that up there.
Yeah.
I don't know how the people must have felt. They've already lost their daughters and a lot more injured, and then to be faced with that in the same area.
Yeah, it was messy, and so it was just hype, basically. Yeah, it was hype. They hyped it up, and the people just jumped on it, got boozed up, and started tearing up the police and the area, yeah? Because they were down at Parliament, weren't they? They were down at Parliament or MOD, right? Doing the same thing.
Last night they were in Parliament Square outside Downing Street, yeah. The Prime Minister's made a statement about it this morning, saying he's going to try and clamp down on social media and stuff like that, which means they'll clamp down on everyone who's saying things that, I've got a problem with clamping down on social media completely, because they'll clamp down on things, they'll start off for the bad people and go after the good people as well. They don't like criticising them. But that's my own point of view. But there was I don't know how many was there, but there was hundreds of them last night in Parliament Square. I know that because I know someone who was there.
What, your mate was out there protesting as well? Your mate was out there, yeah?
A bloke, put it this way, a guy I know was there.
No, fair enough.
He used to be a guy I used to go to football with. Yeah, he was there. And it was all based on this thing. Now, I don't know how they felt when it come out that this guy wasn't an Islamic terrorist. See what I mean? We're not, people are not critically thinking anymore. They're just reacting.
Yeah, totally. But isn't it that type? All right. Isn't it this type of person? I don't want to sound a bit funny, but isn't it that type of person? Because I remember, right, when I was in Oslo, right? Remember the Oslo bombings? Remember this crazy guy went out and done a lot of stuff out there, innit? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Breivik.
Yeah, I remember.
That guy, Breivik, yeah?
Yeah.
And
he shot all them people at that.
Exactly, on the island. Utoya, the island. Yeah, definitely. When he done that, right? But first he set off a thing in the town center of Oslo. He set off first there, right? So what the Norwegian people they went down to Grønland. Grønland was is where all the ethnic shops are around there. Yeah, they went down there and started beating up all these ethnic people. And then they found out that it was this guy that done it, But isn't that the same kind of reaction that we get?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what country we're in. We get the same reaction, the same people doing the same silly stuff, vigilante, uneducated bullshit that always turns into something else, really, innit? Would you say to that, sir?
Well, I think so. Yeah, every provocation, you're gonna get some reaction. I mean, the provocation on the people in Oslo that were innocent there, that had nothing, But that was the idea of it, wasn't it? To go and create some sort. And I think this is the main point. You got people out there that will wind people up because they want to create this thing where people are at each other's throats, where people come out fighting and all that, where people come out fighting and having a go at each other and all that game. Some people get a kick out that they want that to happen.
Is it just a fight, or is it a race war, you think, sir?
No, I think some people were really trying to stir it up. They got their own reasons for doing it. We know them are the real racist people, them one. And they're using the thickos as their foot soldiers, in my opinion.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I like that.
Let's go down there. Yeah, I'll go down with you, Bob. That sort of thing.
Yeah, totally. No, I hear you. Well, we're still yet to find out about this person, innit? To the where this young guy came from and all that stuff. But they jumped it out first. I remember.
He was born in this country. He was born in Wales. his parents come from Rwanda.
Yeah, totally. Because listen, the first day they said it was they said it was a non-terrorist thing. So usually when they say that, that means the person, it's got nothing to do with that stuff in it, right? They wouldn't announce that on the news when it happened. Breaking news. They said it's a non-terrorist thing, you know. So they, right, innit? I never heard that. Have you ever heard that before, sir?
Yeah, a non-terrorist incident.
Totally. They would usually jump on it and say yes, it's a terrorist incident, you know, but they straight away said no, it isn't. It got nothing to do with it. So I don't know what was up with these people. But anyway, yeah,
But, I mean, reacting without critically thinking.
get you in trouble, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They say put your brain in gear before before you drive off with your mouth, you know.
Exactly. All right. Cool. Oh, nice one. Hijack Lee. Nice one, Hijack Lee. I don't know what happened. I think my man got kicked out. He got kicked out of the group, or his phone died, or something like that. Not sure what happened there, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, we've been here for an hour. Thank you very much for turning up, Mr. Hijack, Mr. Me. Yeah, totally. And hopefully we'll be here.
I'll have to do some thinking and come back to you another time.
Yeah, totally. And just hang on anyway. Don't go nowhere. You just stay there. Let me just sign off. So yeah, listen, anyway, thank you for turning up, guys. Tune in to the next one, and we'll see you again next week. Yeah, blessings.